Welcome to the channel. Welcome to Kryptonite Core. Hope y'all are having a tremendous day. It hasn't been the greatest day for me. I've been having migraines throughout the entire week, pretty much. I did, however, get me a new fan. Whee! And I like it. It's really nice. I still have a headache right now, but trying to get over this and trying to be positive and stay focused, and especially with the hurricanes that came through North Carolina, Georgia, South Carolina, all those. Um, I was on the outskirts of that in North Carolina. Um, we had a lot of flooding. We even had a couple twisters that were near. Um, but everything's good here. Just thinking about the people who are on the other side of North Carolina that are in bad shape, bad conditioning, and also all the way down to Florida, Georgia, South Carolina. Everybody's um, trying to find the new norm, trying to, and they're still locating people, and it's really sad. Um, so mine's been a little scattered, real scattered. Um, but I'm gonna stay focused. I'm gonna try my dearest to get back into making content, and been posting shorts and stuff, and some of that's 100% like, yes, I'm doing this, and other times it's like, um, what's going on? I'm getting videos not getting pushed out, nothing's happening, so wait and see what happens, and move forward. All right, let's see how I did. I know there's nobody watching, but what's in? And I have been playing video games. I actually have been playing um, played Warframe a little bit, and then Kingdoms of Amalur: Re-Reckoning. Played that quite a bit. So I've been playing video games. I just haven't recorded myself playing them, but I might get back into doing that soon, just for different types of content. And then doing the prediction videos for this season for NFL and for pay-per-views and stuff for WWE, testing that out, seeing how it goes, and then scripture videos, and then get back into doing beach videos and stuff like that soon as well. And I was thinking about doing like snippets of making it into a short of like an old movie, old TV show, anime, different things like that, to give people not the anime, not the movie, TV show, whatever, you name it, but giving them a little bit of a sneak peek on what it was about a character or whatever. So, anyways, hope everybody's having a good day. Yeah. So last week in the NFL, let's see how well I did, because the week before I didn't do too hot, and so this was the last week with no buys, and so going into week 5 we start our bye weeks, and let's see how well that goes. So first game we had the Cowboys defeat the Giants, and I actually picked the Giants to defeat the Cowboys, in which I was wrong massively on that. Not really the best game of all time. Neither team are doing great things at all. So I'm just gonna. I picked the Buccaneers. I did pick the Bucks. to defeat the Eagles. I had this feeling that Baker Mayfield was going to jump back. You have this team that's doing super hot. And the Eagles, who really don't have, like, Jalen Hurts doesn't have anybody to throw the ball to. So he's really hurting right now, isn't he? So he doesn't have A.J. Brown. He doesn't have anybody to throw the ball to pretty much. And, and it's pretty decent. He does have a few other people, but they're just not as great. They're not as grand. But pick the Bucks to beat the Eagles. I did pick the Vikings to go over the Packers, which was a really solid game, and it could have went either way in the final moments of that game. But I think it was a mistake really to bench Malik Willis when he was doing well, and the team was formalized around that idea. And we've seen that Jordan Love threw 2 or 3 interceptions during that game as well, which was a little bit of ring rust there. And then the Vikings, Sam Darnold doing incredible things, so keep doing what you're doing. I picked the Panthers originally to defeat the Bengals because I thought good old returner was going to do well again. Which, I mean, looking at his numbers real quick, Andy Dalton, let's see. So Joe Burrow in that game threw 22 of 31, 232, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 107 QBR rating, while Andy Dalton was 25 of 40, 220 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 87 QBR rating. Yeah, I think that Andy Dalton, he's still, he's a solid, backup, if you will, especially in this age that he's 37 years old. Just the Panthers in general, because they had another player this week that tore their ACL. But that was in practice. But still, I mean, you're losing another offensive lineman. So they're hurting already, especially with, some of the and things that they did, like trading several good players away. They did get Bryce and stuff, and I think Bryce has a bright future ahead of him, but he just needs the right team, the right foundation around him, because you're not going to build a house on a weak foundation, because every time that house is going to collapse. So the Panthers need to really rebuild the whole entire team and get rid of, basically redo your management a little bit, and yeah. So I got that one wrong, but I think since I'm here, the Bengals, Joe Burrow played a really good game. Chase Brown got 80 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. Zach Moss got 51 yards. The top receiver, let's see, who was it? Jamar Chase got 85, 1 touchdown. Zach Moss also got a receiving touchdown as well. T. Higgins got 60 yards. That was, I believe, T. Higgins' second game back, and he did a pretty solid. But then comparing that to what the Panthers did, so their number 1 rusher was Chuba. I think that's how you say his name. 104 yards rushing, 1 touchdown, which is pretty good. Their top receiver, which Miles Sanders is a receiver, but he's mainly known for being a running back. So they're sort of like switched his whole entire complexion and everything like that, just to fit that for the notion of the team. But your number 1 for that team was Dante Johnson, 83 yards, 1 touchdown. But then you got Xavier, who's the rookie, who got 66 yards, 1 touchdown. Xavier should be the future of the team, future of the organization. Who knows if that's actually going to happen or not. But good game. I mean, it was a solid game, comparatively speaking, to some other games, which this week had better games than last week. Last week had a lot of blowouts, a lot of one-sided fights. I did pick the Chicago Bears to defeat the Rams. I felt like Caleb was going to jump back, and they had an incredible contest, an incredible game. Just talking about that, You have the Rams' time of possession was 31 minutes. Bears was 28. Total yards, Rams 322. Chicago Bears 264. So basically, the Bears utilized every single yard that they had to the best of their momentum and best of their ability. Passing yards 203 compared to 177. Rushing yards 119 to 131. Penalties 6 to 10. So the Bears need to work on the penalties a lot. Turnovers 2 for the Rams, 0 for the Chicago Bears. That's good, really good. No turnovers for the Chicago Bears. Yeah, okay. So the Rams, Matthew Stafford had 20 to 29. So he passed a completion of 20 to 29, 224 yards, 1 interception, QBR rating of 85. Okay, so not horrible, but he still passed an interception. And then you got rushing of -1 yards, but their number one was Williams, 94, 1 touchdown. Their top receiver was Tutu Atwell or whatever, 82 yards, no touchdowns, but he still looked really good. And then the Chicago, so Caleb Williams was 17 of 23, 157 yards, 1 touchdown, QBR rating of 112. That's pretty good. Not bad at all. So that's and then number one rusher was Swift at 93 yards, 1 touchdown. Number one receiver was also Swift. Yeah, also Swift at 72 yards. So whoever had him in fantasy did really well this week. I think they're on the up and up. I'm happy about that. Okay, moving right along. I did pick the Texans over the Jags. The Jags, and you have to say that the Jaguars actually looked good or decent. They looked like they were actually fundamentally getting grooved in the same sync line, But the issue is, though, even though this was their best game this season, they still lost by 4 points. And Trevor Lawrence, I think, would be a better fit on another team. Just losing all the damn time. How can you have confidence in yourself if you continuously lose and continuously fall victim to the Jaguars' bull crap? You got a good running back, okay, but a good running back is not necessarily going to bring you championships and make you go to the championship round every single time, even make it to the Super Bowl or even being in Super Bowl contention. So 0-4 is their record. Okay, so they got almost like a 1% chance they'd even make it to the playoffs at this moment because the odds are stacked against them. However, let's look at the numbers from that game. Might as well. We looked at a couple of them, so we might as well. And I'll just open a new link page instead of going back and forth. All right, so Trevor Lawrence did 18 of 33, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 92 QBR rating. So he did good. Okay. Tank was their number one rusher, 90 yards, 0 touchdowns. Brian's normally their guy, but Travis should be their dude because he's underutilized. Their head coach, most of their head coaches through the history of the Jaguars have had their head so far up their own rear end that they can't even function properly. So, receiver was Brian Thomas, 86 yards, 1 touchdown. Christian Kirk also got a touchdown as well. They have a really solid unit, okay, but they have a lot of problems with the offensive line and the defense. Their defense and offensive line, they can't protect Travis. They can't protect Travis either. They can't protect their quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. They can't protect, anybody. And they're pretty much the same. Okay, so the Texans, C.J. Stroud, 27 of 40, 345 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, QBR rating of 120. Tremendous. That's beautiful right there. The number one rusher for the team was Cam Akers at 53 yards, that's incredible. That's pretty solid. You got your top receiver, which looks like it was Nico Collins, with 151 yards, 1 touchdown. Stephen Diggs, 69 yards. Probably a little upset about that. He shouldn't be upset about that at all. That's tremendous numbers. But the thing is, you got like Robert Woods, Stephen Diggs. You got Collins. You even got your tight end Dalton Schultz. You got a lot of good weapons there. You should be winning every single game because you tremendous weapons, tremendous. Robert Woods could actually be used better than he currently is being used, because I remember what he did with the Rams a couple years back, and they would go on to become Super Bowl champions. And Robert Woods was a major fundamental piece to that puzzle. You gotta address every single thing that you have, and having Daniel Hunter in there as your defense guy is tremendous. Hunter is tremendous. All right. That was a good solid game for the week, and I got that one correcto. All right, let's move right along. Falcons Saints. I got that one wrong because I was thinking that Derek Carr was going to get things on track again. I figured that he was going to get back on the winning track of things. Now, this was probably I would say this would be the game of the week for me. Last week it was the Bears game. I thought that game of last week was incredible. Bears and the Colts. But this week right here had to be the Saints and the Falcons. The reason why is because it was so back and forth. It was so competitive. Derek Carr is not playing his best football. However, the Saints overall are playing some solid football. And this upcoming week, and I'll get into that prediction soon, they are going toe-to-toe with the undefeated 4-0 Kansas City Chiefs. And that game's going to be amazing. But I'm hoping the Chiefs win, or I'm hoping that the Chiefs lose, because I would like to see the defense of the Saints prevail. But so far, the Saints have actually struggled. So, looking at the numbers, so Derek Carr was 28 of 36, which is not bad. He threw 239, 1 interception, 88 QB rating, which is not horrible. Kamara was 77 yards, 1 touchdown, which is good, but we know he can do better. Okay, receiver, the number one receiver was Chris Olave, 87 yards. Right behind him was Shahid, who 83 yards. It's good numbers. Okay, so but you know that these guys are going to have another game later in the season, and you know it's going to be just as good, and you know that this time it's going to be in the Saints playground of New Orleans, and it's going to be potentially the Saints' victory. But you never know. It could be either way. These two teams always have good show-ups and good games. But the crazy thing is, and people need to get their heads out of their rear about this, is there was a fight live on the field, in the stands and everything, and everybody needs to calm down. It's just a football game, but So anyways, going to Kirk Cousins' numbers, it was 21 of 35, 238, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception, QBR rating of 74. Kirk can do better. Kirk can do obviously better, but he did pretty solid in that game. Obviously, they pulled out the victory in that game. They've been like this team who, this year in particular, they've been the team that can upset teams and can give good games to a lot of teams this year. Okay, so they had a tremendous game with the Chiefs a couple weeks back, and they had this week right here was an amazing game with the Saints. Okay. And their numbers for receiving and with rushing were Tyler got 60 yards, while their number one rusher or receiver was Drake London with 64 yards, but none of those led to any touchdowns. I think most of their points came from field goals. Actually, Well, maybe not. No. Oh boy. Field goal, touchdown. But the touchdowns are coming from them. They did get a touchdown, but so fumble recovered at Atlanta, K Hodge at no at end zone and touchdown. So they got a touchdown because the punt was okay. So they didn't actually throw it in touchdown or anything like that, but whatever. So they still won the game. So Saints looked better a little bit, but Falcons are like the spoiler. All right. Moving right along, we had the Broncos and Jets, which I did pick the Broncos to defeat the Jets, or I picked the Broncos to lose, because I thought Aaron Rodgers was going to do well again, but didn't think about the Broncos defense too well. Broncos are going to do better because that's the Broncos. Just did well because their defense just stopped Aaron Rodgers. Okay, so Bo Nix is still getting used to everything, and Bo Nix he's improving slowly. I still think that Jalen Daniels is number one draftee this past year, and I think Caleb Williams would be a good second. But I think Bo Nix, I think he has a bright future ahead of him. I think that Drake May and J.J. McCarthy won't play until next year, so we really don't know how that's going to go. You think Rice is going to be okay? So Rice tore his ACL, and that's actually not going to be okay at all, because if Patrick Mahomes wasn't doing what he shouldn't have been doing, so Patrick Mahomes for some reason was going to go for a tackle. It looked like he was going for the tackle in the slow motion video to protect his receiver, and the guy got out of the way, and then he accidentally hits Rice right in the knee, and that's when Rice tears his ACL. And now Rice is going to be out of action for up to 9 months at the low end, and then at the max is probably a year. So, he's going to miss some time. He's going to miss the rest of this season, which they're 4-0. They're undefeated. Kareem Hunt just rejoined them, but they're hurting. So, and there is a wide receiver that is actually on the market, Davante Adams from the Raiders is on the line, and they're wanting to trade him. They're wanting to get rid of him, but I think that would be a good fit for him if he decided to go that route, but I think there's other options that are more viable for him at this particular time. But I think that he very well could go to that team, and he would succeed in that team too, and he would win a championship as well. Davante Adams could definitely do that, but Rice is going to be gone for a lengthy amount of time, which stinks because he's a very talented athlete. So I heard it's not confirmed yet that it's torn. I heard that it was confirmed that he tore his ACL. So either way, he's going to miss some time. So not torn. Say it's bruised. Say it's partially torn. He's still going to miss at least 3 weeks if it's bruised, and then he's going to miss probably 5 or 6 and be placed on IR if it's just partially torn. Either way, he's probably going to miss most of the season or the complete season. But I've heard that it was torn and he was going to miss the season. But I may be wrong, but I hope that he is not and will not miss the season, and I hope that he plays. But sometimes, injuries in football happen every single week, and so every single snap pretty much. So continuing along, I picked the Indianapolis Colts to lose to the Steelers, and the Colts picked up a victory. Steelers fell victim to the Colts, which, looking at the numbers for that game, which I looked at the numbers for most of the games besides the first 3, I don't know why. So Justin Fields, former Chicago Bear quarterback, did 22 of 34, 312, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions, 104 QBR rating, which he did he did pretty good. Um, let's see. Justin Fields also got their top rushing, 55 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, which is what the Chicago Bears should have used him for, but they did not. Receiver, George Pickens got 113 yards, 0 touchdowns. But then the tight end got 57 yards, 1 touchdown. Pretty solid numbers, not bad at all. Then you compare that to the Colts. Okay, so the Colts gave them a little bit of a run for their money. First, it started off with Andy Richardson. He was 3 of 4, 75 yards, or 71 yards, 116 QBR rating. Then he got injured, not knowing exactly how severe the injury is at the moment, but they had Joe Flacco come in, and Joe Flacco is like Andy Dalton. The dude can still play. The dude can still go. So since the guy can still go, since the guy can still play, they did a tremendous deal, and so he got 16 of 26, 168 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 111-yard QBR rating. Basically, this dude did an incredible deal, all right? And Joe Flacco led him to a victory, okay? Jonathan Taylor got 88 yards rushing, 1 touchdown, and the number 1 receiver was Michael Pittman Jr. at 113 yards. Incredible. So I got that one wrong. Patriots or the Niners over the Patriots. I did pick that. Patriots had a lot of, hope at the beginning of the season with the new head coach and a lot of new moves and stuff, and bringing Jacoby Brissett back. But it seems like that's more of a setback than springing into the next season, because they're like one of the worst 3 teams in the NFL right now. So if you're betting your money against the Patriots right now, that's the time to win some cash. Let's see. I actually picked the Cardinals to beat the Redskins. I know, but that's the way I remember them. But the Commanders, aka the Redskins, have just done incredible things with Jayden Daniels. Jayden Daniels is underutilized in some ways, but he has been overlooked because of what position he actually fell to and how they were perceiving him before the draft and such. But I think he's very good. But the Cardinals, see, at the beginning of the season, they were doing really good, and I still think they're like one of these teams that could be an underdog team. They could slip into the playoffs somehow. But right now, they're just slowly falling down. Okay? So, yeah. And just to be fun about things. So the final score of the game was 42-14, which is just dreadful. So the Redskins, Jayden Daniels got 26-30, 233 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 104 QBR rating. Rushing was Brian Robertson Jr., 101 yards, 1 touchdown. Jayden Daniels also got a rushing touchdown as well. Receiving, number 1 was, we're going to call him Zach, okay, because, I can't pronounce his name, but he was 85 yards, 0 touchdowns, but you got Terry who got 1 touchdown, and, they did incredible, okay. Okay, comparing that to the Cardinals, okay, Kyler Murray got 16 of 22, which is not bad, okay, but 142 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions, 110, so it didn't seem like the issue's him, okay. Rushing, number 1 rusher, 18 yards, James Conner. That's low. 1 touchdown though. He got, that's good. And then Marvin Harrison Jr. got 45, 1 touchdown. Yeah. That's it. So you have their number 1 is 45 yards receiving, and their number 1 rusher was 104. Okay. Comparatively speaking to the Commanders, who was 101 and 85. Okay, so a little bit of a difference there. And let's see. So the time of possession was 33 minutes for the Redskins and 26 for the Cardinals. Okay, so but the numbers speak for themselves. Okay. I did get the Raiders over the Browns correct because they're two of the worst teams. I mean, how wrong could you get with that one? I did get the Chiefs over the Chargers correct. That's the feeling. The Bills. Okay, so yeah, I got that one right. I got the Titans over the Dolphins correct because Tua is like deciding what he's going to do with his future, and he should decide for your family, for your money. So they're struggling. Their quarterbacks, Hundley is not a horrible backup, I guess, but he's not a starter. They're going to fall victim, every single time. And I got the Lions correct as well of the Seahawks, which was a good game too. Oh yeah, let me write down this. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh yeah, I got those. Oh, right, I got that one wrong. Then I got the Ravens over the Bills one too. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is that right? Okay. So I got 9 correct out of 15, and I got 6 wrong out of 15. Okay, so nothing great. Not the worst either, but all right. Moving right along. Third. Okay. So tomorrow night, Thursday night, we have the Buccaneers and the Falcons, 1-on-1. All right. All right. Buccaneers. I'm going to talk about why I'm going to decide teams. Maybe I'll do better because of that reason. But this past week, I actually 9 out of 15. The week before, 4 out of 16. Am I missing a game or something? Oh yeah. I have to fix something. So all right. Now I'm ready. So I'm going to talk about the two teams that I'm going to decide. So ultimately, Baker Mayfield has done really exceptionally well, especially with having the weapons of Mike Evans and Godwin in his corner. With that being said, excuse me. With that being said, They're taking on the Atlanta Falcons, who have been like the spoiler, who have upset teams and have put teams in their spot when they really didn't need to or have to, right? They have tremendous game. They had a tremendous game with the Saints last week. They had a tremendous game with the Chiefs a few weeks ago, and they've done pretty damn well for themselves. Okay. They also defeated the Eagles as well, I believe. So do I think they are going to defeat the Buccaneers? I'm going to think that is going to be a negative. I do not see that that's going to happen. I do think this is going to be another good game. I think this is going to be another close game, just like the Falcons and Saints game was. Because I think Kirk Cousins is going to throw 1 or 2 touchdowns. Okay. And I think that Baker Mayfield is going to throw like four touchdowns in that game. And I think he's going to do very well for himself. Okay. But I think ultimately, at the end of the day, the Buccaneers are going to beat the Falcons. All right. Now let's move on to Sunday Night Football. First, we have the Jets and we have the Vikings. Now, I know Aaron Rodgers has a lot of history over defeating the Vikings throughout the years, and he also with losing to the Vikings as well when he was the Green Bay head counselor, their head coach, there for many, many years. The Jets, though, they struggle. All right, they don't have the best offensive line, and they don't look tremendous at all. Okay. They look horrible. So with that being said, with them looking very, very horrible and such, and the Vikings defense has improved drastically. They look good, and they also are currently one of 2 teams that are still undefeated and unmatched on the main stage. I know Aaron Rodgers is like mystical and he's really good, but I am going to say that he is going to lose this Sunday, and that the Minnesota Vikings are going to prevail and they're going to pick up a huge victory over the Jets. And that's not really like a huge, massive victory, like winning a Super Bowl type deal, but yeah, they're going to prevail and they're going to continue winning. So the Vikings over the Jets. And Sam Darnold will probably throw like 2, maybe 3 touchdowns, I'm going to guess, something like that. Next, we have the Carolina Panthers versus the Chicago Bears. So you got Andy Dalton taking on another one of his former teams, the Chicago Bears, which he was just the head quarterback for that team for 1 season, just a couple of years ago. The Chicago Bears have improved drastically. They've also changed drastically since the time that Andy Dalton was a part of that franchise. They have upgraded so much, so very much in a short amount of time, and I'm pleased that they have improved, because over all the many years that the Chicago Bears have been around, you should be thinking to yourself, there has to be a moment in this franchise's history that they start developing, that they start growing, that they start developing some freaking talent, start winning some championships again, because it's been too long. All right, 85 Bears, we need you back. All right, even though some of those guys are sadly not with us anymore. Panthers have improved since Andy Dalton has taken over. However, I think the Chicago Bears' defense is going to stop those Panthers from getting the victory on that main stage. Okay, so I like Andy Dalton being the quarterback for the Panthers, but I also think it's like a slap in the face to Rice because the dude needs, I mean, he shouldn't have been given that spot to begin with because I don't think he was ready. Because when you're going to a team like maybe the Chicago Bears, who has a little bit of hope, okay, all right, if you give the proper weapons or whatever, you're good, okay. But if you go to a team that has no line, they have no defense, they have nobody to throw the damn ball to, like really. I mean, you got Dante, you got whoever the running back is. Okay, but those guys are not like the key of like the cream of the crop. They're doing good because Andy Dalton's allowing them at this particular stage to do good. Okay, so the Panthers over time need to improve, but I think on that stage on October 6th at 1 p.m. we're going to slowly see, because you've seen over the last few weeks that the Chicago Bears have been slow. It's mainly towards the end of the second quarter that they're actually starting to actually score. That's going to be the same case. Okay, so I could even see Andy Dalton throw one interception, maybe two, all right, because the Bears have one of the top 3 defenses right now. So I'm going to say that the Chicago Bears defeat the Panthers. And I would like to say that Caleb throws one touchdown at least, one passing touchdown. Next on Sunday Night Football, we have a game, the Panthers and Bears. It's going to be a good game. Okay, I don't know how good but I know it's going to be a decent game. Okay, and the Jets and Vikings, that game's probably not going to be good. It's probably going to be Vikings beating the hell out of the Jets. But the Dolphins and Patriots, I don't see it being really a good game. I see it being a game that people just don't want to watch. They don't want to turn the TV on to lousy entertainment like that. The Dolphins have a lot of good weapons, a lot of good, good running backs. They have 2 of them that are really top notch. One's questionable for this week. The other one's doing tremendous if given the ball. But right now they have not given him the ball. They have 2 of the best wide receivers, one of the best wide receiver duos in all football, and they have some of the worst backup and second, third, and fourth, and fifth, and sixth, whatever string quarterback you want to name, and they can't win games. Okay, then you look at the Patriots, who have one of Thomas's, guys that he was like sort of grooming to be the next big deal, and then you have some decent or some low tier running backs and some wide receivers that nobody can name and all that stuff. The point is, this game is not a game that anybody's going to really care about. So I think though that the Dolphins they're falling off a cliff. All right. So my point is that those Miami Dolphins are going to continue losing. Okay. So the Patriots don't look good, but I think Jacoby Brissett is good enough that they're going to win this game. So that's exactly who I'm going to pick. I'm going to pick Patriots over the Dolphins. And some people might ask me, why? Why are you picking the Patriots over the Dolphins? It's simple. Quarterback. If you don't have a good quarterback, if the quarterback can't throw the ball or if he can't hand it off and not lose it, most likely you're going to lose the damn game. Okay, so I think that they're going to lose the game. Now, it might be close, but they're going to lose the game. It's not going to be a game that a lot of people are going to want to watch. This next game, people are going to want to watch because I believe that Joe Flacco is going to be the starting quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts yet again. And because I believe Richardson is like, he may not play. It's up in the air still. But they're going to be playing the Jacksonville Jaguars in Jacksonville. And I think that game is going to have incredible potential. So the Jaguars last week did great. Okay, in my opinion, they probably should have won the game. They needed the victory. They should have been 1-3. They should have probably won a few other games that were a little bit closer. Trevor Lawrence either does really well or he does really bad. There's not really a middle ground for him, and last week he did pretty damn well. I could definitely see the Colts and Jaguars game being really good. Unfortunately, I see the Colts winning because you got Flacco starting, and Flacco is pretty good, and he's better than Andy Dalton. And so, the Jaguars, uphill battle. They could pick up their first victory. And I could select them to pick up a victory. I could, but I think I'm going to go with my gut on this. I'm going to pick the Indianapolis Colts to defeat the Jaguars, simply because their talent, and you're going to have Joe Flacco, who's going to throw at least 2 touchdowns, and then you're also going to get Jonathan Taylor, who's going to get at least 1 or 2 rushing touchdowns. Pittman probably will get, he'll get both of those touchdowns that good old Flacco passes. They're going to win the game. Yeah, it's going to be competitive, but after week 5, the Jags unfortunately are going to be 0-5. All right, moving right along to another interesting matchup. So we have the Ravens squaring off against the Bengals. The Bengals just won their very first game last week. Very competitive fight that was. And they defeated, let's see, who did they win against? They defeated the Panthers in a really good close matchup. I think it was like 34-24, something like that. The Baltimore Ravens last week also, they picked up a huge victory over the Bills, in which they controlled the atmospheric pressure in that room because they made Josh Allen look like a little chump in that game. Could they do the same thing to Joe Burrow? Could they do the exact same thing? Well, the Ravens have been on a game season this year where they have looked really good, and then certain pieces of those games that they look really good, they look like crap. And then they ultimately lose some of those games that are really close at certain points. So ultimately, in that particular affair, the Bengals have had the similar type of luck where they look really good in games, but then they lose every single game. Okay, so I think at the end of the day, when this game is closed out, I think somehow, some way, the Baltimore Ravens are going to win this game, and they're probably going to have Derrick Henry run and get 2 or 3 rushing touchdowns, because I think last week he got 1 or 2 as well, because they did that surprise attack on the Buffalo Bills, and the Bills couldn't stop Derrick Henry, and they tried so hard to stop Derrick Henry, but they couldn't stop Derrick Henry because they were just too damn slow. And if you're too damn slow, you're just not going to catch Derrick Henry whatsoever. So isn't that a beautiful thing? So Ravens are going to defeat the Bengals. Next, we have the Cleveland Browns versus the Redskins, and I'm going to call them the Redskins because sort of old school, I guess, because I've been watching football or paying attention to football since like 2009 when I went to college at Ball State. So, and that they were called the Redskins. Then it was like a moniker to give respect to Native Americans, and not like a displeasure or a racist thing or anything like that, but it was known as something to give homage and respect to them. And me being Native American, or a little bit, I have Blackfoot and Cherokee in me, I think that it is a huge disrespect to call them commander. So respect goes towards the rest. All right, so we have the legendary quarterback who needs to be behind bars right now, and Deshaun Watson, who's been playing average all year round, taking on the Redskins quarterback Jalen Daniels, who's done incredible this year and is now 3-1 as a rookie quarterback. You talk about flipping this whole script. Before the season even started, after the draft, people weren't going to say, Well, the Redskins are going to do well this year. The Redskins are going to bounce back. They're going to make an impact. They're going to do so well that people are going to be talking about him and putting him in the MVP conversation. Well, that's exactly what has happened. So he's in the MVP conversation. He's getting rushing touchdowns, he's getting passing touchdowns. He's doing incredible things. He was the second quarterback from this past draft class to get a passing touchdown, the first being Caleb Williams. They both got 2 touchdowns in the same damn week. So that's nice, isn't it? And ever since, they both got, touchdowns and stuff. And Bo Nix has also gotten a touchdown as well. So they've all 3 done really well, but Bo Nix is slightly below those 2. So you got Deshaun Watson, who now might have his legendary running back coming back. I can't freaking think of his name because he's been gone for like 3 years, but he's coming back. All right, he's coming back. He's coming back to play, and Nick Chubb is his name. Yeah, good old-fashioned Nick Chubb's coming back, and I think Nick Chubb is he's going to be making an impact ASAP. But he's I don't know if he's going to be playing Sunday, but he's rumored to be coming back soon because he's starting to practice with the team a little bit. So yeah, so they're getting ready. Even with him coming back, though, the Browns look like trash, total garbage. They're in the 5 worst teams in the NFL right now. Commanders are easily going to win this game, and they're going to prevail and walk out with their head held high and be 4-1. I was talking to a colleague today, and I said, when's the last time that the Redskins were 4-1? Can't think of a time because it hasn't happened for a long, long time. So Commanders walking into this game, sort of like underdogs, but they're going to walk out victorious and defeat the Browns. So, yeah. Next, we have, I'll start with the matchup is possibly one of the most anticipating matchups of the week, and then I'll go to one of the games that's not anticipated at all. Nobody's talking about this other game, except maybe the people who are going to the game. I'm going to that game. So first we have the Buffalo Bills taking on the Houston Texans. Two young quarterbacks who are ready to go, always ready to go. Josh Allen and C.J. Stroud, always ready to go. And they both have 2 really good teams. Now, here's the key factor that a lot of people may have forgotten. Stefon Diggs last season was on the Buffalo Bills, so this is like a game where he is taking on his old team. So you got the Houston Texans taking on the Buffalo Bills in Houston, and it's going to be a game of the week. I'm surprised they didn't actually move it to 8:20, put in the main spot of Sunday Night Football or anything like that, because it's going to possibly be one of the better games. You got 2 explosive offenses colliding head-to-head in this competitive fight. Okay, so Buffalo Bills lost their first game last week to the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens smothered Josh Allen, made sure he couldn't move, made sure he couldn't do crap. Okay. The Houston Texans look good, all right? They also have a very explosive offense and everything, and they look really good, all right? Hopefully Joe Mixon plays, the running back, and hopefully they do smooth, all right? See, this is a hard selection because both these teams are really good, and I want to get as many good picks as I can. So I'm going to pick the Buffalo Bills to win this game, simply because I think that Josh Allen can close, with his offense. He knows how to close it better than Stefon Diggs and the Texans and C.J. Stroud. So I'm going to say that the Buffalo Bills defeat the Houston Texans in Houston. Even though that might be a mistake later on. But I think the game should have been later on, because let's figure it out this way. You have 2 of the best teams and 2 of the hottest teams in the NFL going toe-to-toe at 1 p.m. And you think that's cool. You think that's good. You think that's just the best thing ever. When your game at Sunday Night Football is the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know the Pittsburgh Steelers are doing pretty good with Justin Fields, and I know Dak Prescott with the Dallas Cowboys are not doing too bad. But the game it's lackluster, okay? It's lackluster, and nobody's really talking about that game. When the Buffalo Bills and the Houston Texans, that game is going to be explosive. People are going to be at the edge of their seat, and you're going to have people wanting to watch Sunday Night Football. Okay, so Sunday Night Football is where you want more of the viewership to go to. Or even Monday Night Football, which that game is also a game that I would be highly considering watching, which would be the Saints versus the Kansas City Chiefs, which it should be another good game, depending on how the Chiefs actually want to play. But my point is, you should make those Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football games like the games that people want to watch. So if you need to, the week before, change it to benefit not only yourself, like the NFL, but benefit the teams, because you're going to get more people viewing the Bills and Texans game than the Cowboys and Steelers game, just because of the implications involved in the game. So I picked the Bills of the Texans, but obviously it could go either way, because it's probably going to go to like the final field goal is going to be how the game is ending. Okay, because I could see like 6 or 7 touchdowns being thrown, being rushed in that game. So it's gonna be a good one. Now let's talk about the game nobody's talking about, and it's not the Cowboys and Steelers, because that game will be decided later on. And this also will be the first game that's at 4:05. We got 2 of those, and it is going to be Raiders and the Broncos going toe to toe. And the Raiders are looking to trade Davante Adams. And Davante Adams, I think, in the next couple of weeks is going to be gone from the Raiders. So Davante hasn't really done like anything break out and like crazy in the Raiders land, He hasn't looked super impressive like he did with the Green Bay Packers. So is he going to be missed? Probably not, because he really didn't do much there. They didn't really utilize his time there effectively. And, if you would have utilized him better, he probably would have been missed. And they probably would have been like, no, you're not going anywhere. But now they're like, hey, get out of here, kid. We don't need you. The Broncos, however, they look impressive, especially with a rookie quarterback. They look good. They look solid. They look clean. They look like they can accomplish a lot of good stuff. Now, does Bo Nix look like he could be the next star of the Denver Broncos? I think he does, but I think he needs a lot of, grooming, and he needs a lot of, prep. But listening to the veterans in the locker room and such, I have to select the Broncos to beat the Raiders. The Raiders are in the conversation to be one of the worst teams in the NFL. All right. You get rid of Derek Carr, which Derek Carr's not like the A-list when it comes to being the best quarterbacks in the league. But he is a better quarterback than what they have. Now, Gardner Minshew, when he first came into the league, when he first got drafted, he was pretty damn good. But then as time ticks, he slowly has gotten worse. Okay? He's not as good. And it was the Raiders, he's not horrible. I mean, he doesn't like throw 45 interceptions like Josh Rosen, but he's not solid. We want better in Raiders land, and so I'm thinking that the Broncos are going to eat the Raiders alive, and their defense is going to choke them up. They're going to lose the game. So I'm picking the Broncos over the Raiders. Obviously, that could go either way, but Broncos actually have a future, and the Raiders right now are like, what is our future? Which is sad. The second 4:05 game, we have the Arizona Cardinals taking on the 49ers. The Arizona Cardinals, so at the beginning of the season, when they did very well against the Dallas Cowboys, I had so much hope, and I was like, wow, the Cardinals look good. They actually look good for a change. And then the following weeks, they would have tremendous games against tremendous teams, week after week. And then slowly they started going into this sense that they don't care anymore. It feels like they just don't care how the games go. I think that this game's going to be competitive. I think it's going to be good. And I think that Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to get another touchdown. Kyler Murray is going to have good numbers and everything, but I think it's just not going to be good enough. I think the 49ers and Brock Purdy and he's back, and they're going to do good. George Kittle, he's healthy, he's ready to go as well. They are missing a few key players, but I think ultimately the 49ers are going to continue their Rido momentum. They're going to continue winning, and this is going to be probably one of the better games of the week, I would say, but it's just not going to be good enough to get those Cardinals the victory. So I'll pick the Niners to pick up that Vic. Then at 425 we have the New York Giants taking on the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks have looked impressive. They have done really well with Geno Smith. I am shocked, so very shocked. Since Geno Smith has come back to the NFL, he has not thrown tons of interceptions like he did in previous years that he was in the NFL. Because he was a part of the NFL before, that was like his middle name, Dr. Interception. And he always threw an interception. He always threw an interception. This time around, he doesn't really do that too much. Once in a while, he does an interception, but that defense in Seattle really makes that team look top-notch. And when they lost last week, it was like, whoa, But they didn't just lose by a couple points. They lost by a little bit more. So it was like 45 to 20 something. I can't remember the exact score. Let's score back up. 42 to 29. Okay. And real quick, let's see what good old Geno Smith did last week. That's not really part of the script, but Geno Smith was 38 of 56, 395 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 93 QBR rating, with 38 yards rushing as well. Okay, he passed. Let's see, and the 1 touchdown went to AJ Marner. Okay, I don't know who the hell he is, but the point is, he did good. Almost 400 yards. That's good. Okay, so they're good, and they lost to a good team, a good solid unit. Okay, the Giants. Okay, so let's talk about the Giants. The Giants suck. Okay, let's be blank clear about this. The Giants suck. They're horrible. Okay, Daniel Jones. The guy is like a roller coaster of everything. He goes from being okay to like the craps, the I would say the shits. All right, he's just like dreadful, the worst of the worst. Just the sewer. Okay, then the next week he's like mediocre to okay, and then he's back down in the sewer. Okay, he's garbage continuously. Okay. The last few weeks he's been okay. Okay, it's about time that he's sewer again. Okay, I think this week at 4:25 on October 6th in Seattle, he's going to smell like straight shit. Okay, he's going to throw probably 300 picks. No, probably 3 picks in that game. He's going to do horrible. Okay, if the Giants can actually get this figured out and get an actual good quarterback, they'll be a threat. Okay, Malik is a tremendous wide receiver. My mother's calling me. Mom, you're gonna. I'm almost done with my video. All right, you're gonna have to wait a second. Hold on. I'll call you back, Mom. Bang. Anyways, I'm gonna pick the Seattle Seahawks over the Giants. I'm gonna try to finish this video soon because my mom's calling me. Which is weird. My mom's calling me, but my mom's calling me, so I gotta see what my mom wants. So but I'll call her back in a second. She probably called me. She's probably watching my video, maybe. Then we have the Packers. We have the Rams. Rams lost a big game last week. They looked good. They looked incredible. The Packers, Jordan Love coming back sort of like dismissed, like put a little bit of haunting on what they had going and what they could have had going and everything. I'm just going to say that the Packers continue doing what they're doing, and they're going to get, well, you know what? I haven't picked a game yet where it's like, a little bit questionable. So I actually think that the Rams are going to bounce back and they're going to win this game simply because I think the Rams are a big dual threat, and I think that they can do good things even missing a couple good players, especially wide receivers. I think that Matthew Stafford is going to bounce back and defeat the Packers, and then this is sort of going to haunt the Packers a little bit because they switched quarterbacks. So I'm picking the Rams over the Packers. Then we have the Dallas Cowboys and the Steelers, and I think that the Cowboys have lost their taste of how to win. So I think that they're going to fall victim, and I think they're going to continue losing. Pittsburgh Steelers, Justin Fields he's done good. Their defense has stepped up in big ways, and they're going to continue winning. Yeah, they're going to continue winning. So I'm gonna pick the Pittsburgh Steelers to defeat the Cowboys. And then on Monday Night Football on October 7th, 2024, we have the New Orleans Saints taking on the Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City. I think this is going to be one of the best 3 games of the week. Saints, I hope their defense slows the Chiefs down, and I hope that the Chiefs lose this damn game. But since it's in Kansas City, I can't really bet against. I can't bet against the Chiefs. So I'm going to pick the Kansas City Chiefs to defeat the Saints. So, even though I do not want that to happen. But that's what I'm going to pick. I'm picking the Chiefs over the Saints. Even though, personally, I hope the Chiefs lose. Simply because I think that they are hyped a little too much. And I don't think they're as good as people think they are. So, in review, even with one person, I'm going to pick the Buccaneers over the Falcons, Vikings over the Jets, Patriots over the Dolphins, Ravens over the Bengals, Bills over Texans, 49ers over Cardinals, Rams over Packers, Chiefs over Saints, Bears over Panthers, Colts over Jags, Redskins over Browns, Broncos over Raiders, Seahawks over Giants, and Steelers over the Cowboys. And I guess I'm going to hippy-hoppy off of here and call back my dear mother and see what she was ringing about. And hope you all have a tremendous day. And hope you guys accomplish something good. I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace. Subscribe for more content.